Let's get to the money.
Let's get to the
Money.
Let's get to the
Money. Let's get to the motherfucking money.
Fuck the bookies, fuck the bookies. FTV screaming fuck the bookies, 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 fuck the bookies. FTV screaming fuck the bookies, fuck the bookies, fuck the bookies. Middle finger in your ass screaming fuck the bookies. Woke up in the morning, grab my little black book. Yesterday can eat a dick, cause we lost by the hook. Can't win them all, so you never see me get shook. Today's a new day, the bookmaker's getting cooked. When I spot a dirty K of 4 units getting played, always find the value, I would never be afraid. Scary money don't win, but I'm not going all in unless I see a bet I love, then I put my balls on a bookie's chin. Let it all soak in, doubling my bread, winning money with my friends. If you got the itch and you wanna go big, follow Sharpie bets and you gon' really fucking win. This is not financial advice, it's entertainment. But if I find the right price, believe I'm parlaying it. You can see my spreadsheet, I'm winning, not just saying it. Profit in the green every week, I'm never negative. I can bet an ace or a shitty old picture. Pick the right spots cause I'm the K-pop whisperer. Shut up when I speak until you finally get the picture. I'm the best in the world, tell me you getting richer. Fuck the bookies, fuck the bookies. FTV screaming fuck the bookies, 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 fuck the bookies. FTV screaming fuck the bookies, fuck the bookies, fuck the bookies. Middle finger in the air screaming fuck the bookies.
Let's get to the motherfucking monies.
Let's get to the motherfucking monies. Welcome to the best MLB prop show on God's green earth, The Balking Dead. I'm your host, Sharpie's Bets, and I'm coming back from something, be it flu, COVID, and still not 100% going to, and I gotta go get blood work now done tomorrow, as it may be blood pressure related, so who fucking knows, guys? All I do know is that I'm dizzy, and the energy is just hard to keep for more than about 30 minutes, man. So is what it is, but it's one reason more than many that I'm glad we got Spin Dog Sports with us today, guys, is he's going to be the one that's going to carry the show today. Is like I said, it's hard for me to put just an hour into my freaking work without wanting to crawl back in bed, but appreciate you here, even though you're a little sick too, my guy.
I'm good.
Going around, but
I'm good.
How you been?
Yeah, for those that don't know, 2 weeks ago or the week before last, we were on vacation, went on a little cruise, and after we got home, we found that we heard that there was a COVID outbreak for a bunch of people on our cruise, and I feel fine. It's more of an annoyance. It's more of I might have to mute my mic to do a little dry cough. So if you see me turn my head and cough, it's not because somebody's got a hold down low like at the doctor's office. It's because I've had it for the last 3 or 4 days, so I got a shitload of cough medicine in me. So I'm gonna try to make it through without hacking my lungs out. But energy-wise, I'm good, man. I'm good. I am ready for this slate. I actually yesterday's slate was so boring. VIP only had one play. My Minnesota boy Max Meyer, who went to the same high school as I did, Woodbury, got it. Woodbury High School, and we cashed him. But yesterday's slate was so boring that I actually just started capping today, like yesterday afternoon. So
I know you texted me like, hey man, we're gonna do these dudes. And I'm sitting there like, bro, I'm already back in bed for like the third time yesterday. I'm like, I'll text him later. Yeah, yesterday, like, it's just, even today the card, yeah, looks good, but I didn't even like it that much until they just announced Snell. Called me crazy if I'm saying I'm happy because Snell's pitching. You know I'm fucking sick, but sick is okay if he's going to keep doing like he's been doing. We're not going to really touch on him much, guys, as it just got announced, but it's definitely someone you got to look at. Granted, FanDuel does have a different number right now at 6.5 compared to everybody else, and got to watch how it goes as that lineup is out for the Reds. Let's get to talking the guys we're going to talk about, guys. On this show, we will talk the opening lines of pitching props as well as the closing K-prop line 30 minutes prior to the show going live. So do me a favor, smash that like button, and if you're new to this channel, please hit that subscribe button as well. First guy on the board is Cole Raggins at the Tigers, striking people out 29% of the time while walking people 8%. Opened them up 6.5, minus 138 on FanDuel. Best line available is now minus 158 on FanDuel. pitching outs were opened up at 18.5 minus 225 juice to the under, and now it's 17.5 hella juice to the over, which may be a sign someone knows he's probably only going 6 innings today. Earn runs 1.5 minus 140 juice to the over. Projected lineup 8 righties, 1 lefty, and that lineup is out. We actually got better placement of the lineup, but it is the same 9. Let's talk Raggins.
Okay. Situation I don't mind. Pitcher I like. The juice is just fucking ridiculous. So first of all, if you're going to do this and play this one, in my view, over is the right way to play it. However, you got to find a way to get this juice down. I am, for those of you that followed me for a while, you know how anti-high juice I am. Minus 140, minus 145 is typically the highest that I'll ever play. Reason being is, and this is going to be the case for another guy we're going to talk about in a little bit, is that when you're at the minus 160 level, for you to break even, you need to hit close to 70% of the time to break even, and you need to hit more to be profitable. So ask yourself this on the road with these circumstances, with this lineup. Do you think that Raggins, if you ran this, say, 100 times or 1,000, whatever, would he hit this more than 70% of the time? If you don't think so, then there's really no point in paying this juice. And I will tell you that on the road, in the situation they're in, and especially with a few of the factors that I'm about to talk about, I personally don't think it's worth the juice. I think that the line is worth playing if you can find a way to fit it in, but not at minus 160. One factor that to take into account here is against lefties, the Tigers over the last 30 days are walking at a 9.1% clip. Here's why that matters, is because behind the plate, you have Alan Porter. Alan Porter only averages 15.7 strikeouts per game. That is below umpire average of around 16.5. His overall strikeouts go down when he's behind the plate. And he does have an above average walk percentage. For umpires, it's somewhere between 7.7 and 8%. He's at 8.3. You also go over and you look at the Tigers, and they're chasing about league average. They're swinging in the zone right about league average. They have just very average swing metrics. So if they're going to let's say get this right half the time or around league average for when Raggins is outside of the zone, and you have an umpire that can be tight, Porter can tend to be a little tight on some of the outside edges, and you have the middle of the Tigers lineup, which is their low K part. Like I said, I don't mind the line. I think that 7 is very doable. I just hate with a passion with for most pitchers paying this much juice for a line this high on the road. I talked about this, I think it was last season, Sharpie. It was a higher line, but it was Max Scherzer against the Twins. And it was some absurdly huge line that was juiced. And my point was, and it applies here, is that to hit 7+ on the road, unless you're talking about a team like the Rockies or White Sox or a team that swings out of their shoes, is that so many things have to go right and very few things can go wrong for this to be a straight up win. That is why I don't believe that it would hit at a rate anywhere near being plus EV or being profitable long term. So I think if you can pull this one down to 6+ in a parlay, it makes sense. I think that if you wanted to try to put the 6.5 with something else that's a little bit higher juice to get a little nice little 2-bet plus money parlay, that works as well. I can't advocate playing this straight up, and I can't advocate playing the under because of the top few and the bottom few of the Tigers lineup that Sharpie, I know that you were going to talk about.
Yes, sir. Raggins, guys, gets the Tigers now for the second time this year. When back in May 22nd, he owned them. 6 innings, 0 earned runs with 12 strikeouts. And none of those Tigers numbers back then said fire away, as they were not walking, only striking out 22% of the time with a middle-of-the-pack ISO. Now when we look at their overall numbers versus lefties, we have to go back a whole month. We only get 165 at-bats. That's not enough for me, but it's still, we're getting there. And they're technically crushing the dog piss out of the baseball with an ISO in the 200s, striking out just 23% of the time. Yet they give this man a super juice 6.5, guys. As the books are saying, guys, he's going to do it, guys, and they're going to make you pay for it like that, like if you want it. As when we look at this man's numbers and compare it to how they're playing, this should not be where it's at, guys. This should be a 6.5 minus 130 to the over. They're only striking out 23% of the time. That's about league average. Nothing crazy in 23%. Nothing says go out there and jack the man's win percentage up over the last 10 to this number like they did in this situation, guys. Now, there's two things that worry me. Two things that I need to answer. The first one, guys, is Ragan starting to slow. As he was a reliever his whole life until last year, and he threw his career high of 96 innings, he's already at 128 this year. What do you mean, is he getting tired? Well, 5 of his first 20 games, guys, he gave up 3 runs or more. He's given that up in his last 2 games, giving up 3 runs or more in each game. Granted, one was a quality start. It's just still there and something that I got to pay attention to. The other question is can we trust the little pass history that is there? As it doesn't say Vierling should be striking out half of his 6 at-bats, but he is. As just on whiff alone, guys, we can run 8 of the 9 guys in this projected lineup, as there is one guy with 35 total at-bats in the bigs. So you really can't take much out of other than he struck out 5 of his 23 at-bats the last 21 days. And that wasn't to a guy named Cole fucking Ragan. So I would like to say he's going to strike out, but we can't say he is, though. So when I run through it, guys, it's like you said, this comes down to pretty much the middle of this lineup. Can we get Perez, Keith, and they pushed Urshela down to the bottom to the okay, that's good for the over, guys. Let me tell you. Now, can he get the kid? It's going to come down to Perez, Keith, Urshela, and the kid. Can he get the kid? Can he get any of those other guys? Because he's going to get at least everybody else in this lineup, if not once. I hate counting on people twice, but we can technically look at an Ibanez, at a Rogers to give up to today, guys. So the way they just move this lineup, guys, is actually making me look like, okay, now I'm definitely going to get in. How am I going to pull them down is the question, and that's what I'm going to have to figure out. It's either how high do I take Snell or how low do I take Snell? What do I want to take with Raggins? Because without counting this kid for anything, I have Raggins for 6 on a bad day. So I may just pull him down to that 6, and I already looked at Snell with 6. That was minus 148. And that almost got put in the fucking bank right there. But I was like, you ain't done the work on the Reds, bro. Don't just fucking bet it just because it's fucking, don't do that. So I still got to do all the work and stuff. I'm looking to par him up with the 6 and just be comfortable in the game. Now, what I did look at, guys, is the only guy they fucking seen worth a name. And he ain't even a name I'd like to talk about. But he got traded to the Astros, guys. Kikuchi is the only lefty they've seen in the last month. That motherfucker had 8 strikeouts versus this team. So it's there, guys. It's there. Those numbers are fraudulent. Fraudulent. All right. Go ahead.
One thing to keep in mind too is when Kikuchi got it, because I actually did play that one. Just and the reason why was because after the lineup got released, the line went from average to average +1 heavy juice, with FanDuel being different. I mean, all the signs are there that they wanted the public on a particular side. Those signs don't exist here. What I'm seeing with the way this line is set is they're saying that, that 7 is the most likely number. So if you want to gamble a little bit, you can take the 6 to 7 band if your book allows that, meaning he needs to have either 6 or 7 strikeouts. You can probably get that in the +135 to +175 range. Or if you really want to gamble, you can take a tiny, tiny shot. You should be able to get it at +300 or more at 7 on the nuts, because that's what it's saying. That's what his average is. And what they're saying is that we think he's going to get average. We don't know if he's going to get much more than average. And any teetering one way or the other, if he has a long at bat, or if something happens, or if he's getting squeezed by the ump, if anything goes wrong, this one could go south. And that's why I don't want to play it straight up, because so much has to go right. The way the line was set with Kikuchi led you to believe that okay, Kikuchi's probably going to smack these guys today. That's exactly what he did. That doesn't exist here. They're giving you Reagans at average, but they're making you pay for it. So my advice would be straight up, don't pay for it. If you want to play Reagans, find a different way to do it.
I'm also worried about the outs. No one bets minus 225s. Someone hammered the 18.5 to move it to a 17.5.
I do.
And that to me tells me if the Royals want this guy to pitch in the fucking playoffs, he's got to be starting to be capped at around 6 a game, bro. He's already 12 innings past where he's career pitched, and he's never been a starter other than the end of last year. So they're gonna start babying him. You gotta hope he gets it in 6. Not saying he can't, but that's probably another reason why I'm gonna take him down.
It's a big ask. It's a lot to ask for on the road against a divisional rival that's not one of like the teams that everybody knows that you can pick on for strikeouts. Because like everybody knows you can pick on the Rockies. Everybody knows you can pick on the Mariners. Everybody knows you can pick, so on and so forth. You can pick on the White Sox because they're horrible. Everybody knows that. The Tigers are not one of those teams. So when I see a guy this juiced at average, it just on the road for me with every team playing today and every pitcher virtually lined today, there's so many better spots that you can get your money in than a minus 160 straight up on the road.
Yes, sir. Let's talk the other side of this matchup.
Let's do it.
Well, Tarek Skubal gets the Royals for the 3rd time this year. Morning line was 6.5 minus 122 on FanDuel. Best line available is minus 128 on FanDuel. Pitching outs is 18.5 minus 120 each way. Earned runs are at a 1.5 minus 150 juice to the over. Projected lineup, which may be out by now, is 8 righties, 1 lefty. And is it out?
No, not yet.
That was the Yankees lineup that I just crossed
No,
through. I probably need that. So let's talk Skubal.
Yeah, but that's probably going to be right. The only lefty he's going to face is I'm sure will be Vinny Pasquantino, who doesn't strike out anyway. So this is another one where, I mean, obviously it's the same game, so you have the same ump with Alan Porter. But umpires tend not to matter as much with the Royals. Reason being is they do have since the All-Star break, they do have the 2nd highest or 3rd highest. I'm sorry. See, COVID acting up. They do have the 3rd highest swing rate in Major League Baseball. They have the 3rd highest swing rate outside of the zone at 34.7% compared to a league average of 31.7. The thing is, though, when they do that, they connect. They have a 75.7% contact rate outside the zone since the All-Star break. That is phenomenal. That is almost 15% above league average. Everybody in this lineup now is making contact. Everybody's making when they chase. Everybody's making when they swing. And they're one of only 2 teams post All-Star break to be over 90% when they swing inside the zone. So I go and I look at some other factors for this one, and there's a lot of conflicting ones. And what I mean by that is over the last 30 days, the Royals are striking out 13.6% against lefties. They're walking only 5.7%. This is a byproduct of how often they swing. Teams that swing a lot and make contact a lot tend not to walk much. Skubal has faced this projected lineup 85 times and has a 28.2% strikeout rate. He's gotten a lot of these guys before, and he has tended to be able to get guys this year that are tough to get. My problem with this one, though, remains is that the overall contact rate of so many guys in this lineup. I mean, you go down the row, and let's just even say that he can get Salvi. And let's say that if DeJong is in the lineup, he's probably going to get DeJong.
We got the lineup out just right now as you were talking. They fucking put Garcia up top and switched him for Hampson down at the bottom.
So Hampson at the bottom. All right. I assume then Witt and Vinny and Sal.
Everybody's in there.
Yeah.
Everybody just a little bit different where it was supposed to be. But yeah, DeJong at the bottom.
My hesitation with this one is that I don't see enough guys that I look at and I say, oh, you can for sure get that guy. Because when I'm trying to play a line of 6.5, I like to find at least 4 guys that I'm like, okay, under normal circumstances, he's going to get these guys at least once. So that's 4. Then you go to the middle of the lineup and say, okay, can he the middle part of the lineup and say, can he get these next three guys? Can he get one or two of them once, and then that leaves one strikeout out there? That sort of mentality is how I operate. When I go through this lineup, I don't find enough guys that I can say, yeah, he can for sure get that guy. I have way too many kind of sort of maybes. And when you factor in, even though they have been swinging a lot, when you factor in a very hitter-friendly umpire, when you factor in a team that's making contact this much, it turns out to be just a little bit too much for me. I'm sure as hell not playing the under, but for me, I am probably just going to pass on this one.
Yeah, here we go, man. Scooble gets the Royals for the third time this year, where both times he had 6 strikeouts, whether he went 5 or 7 innings. It's also his 13th time in his career seeing these Royals, as he's only had more than 7 in just 4 of those games. It's been a pretty consistent thing for me, guys, going through the years with Scooble, just not to bet him in the division. Now, that was going into this season. As for the most part, guys, he's shut that up, as he's had 7 or more the last 2 times versus the Twins, 6 versus a Cleveland team who don't strike out. And now if we go through Scooble's last 10 games, he's hit this over 7 of 10 times, which I've seen it equate to a minus 150 before, guys. I mean, call it crazy. I have. Now a minus 122? Nah, that's telling me that these books are saying we don't care about this past history and we don't respect the AL frontrunner for of the Cy Young right now. Now, the 3 games he didn't hit 7, guys, was versus the Astros, Rangers, and Guardians. And we know the Guardians are like the Royals, a whole lot of guys who are elite at zone contact as well as chase contact. And the Astros fit into that for at least the majority of their lineup. And the Rangers, just could not have been a good game or something. Who knows? Shit happens. It's baseball. So the question is do I really want to go up versus the books on this? And really, I don't think I want to, guys. Not saying he can't, as there is some past history that says he sure as fuck can. Now, 4 of 13 games is a red flag. The fact that we got a bettable 6.5 is a red flag, as the books just don't care about the past history. Now, maybe they are, and they're just looking at the overall games and saying 6. That's the number we're going to put him at, as he ain't had more than 6 after the, we're going to put him at 6.5. He ain't had more than 6, and the 2 teams he struggled with this year, those in the last 10 games, Astros, Guardians, he had 6 or less, kind of equals up. Now, is that what they're doing? I don't know. Because when we look at this, the way they projected it, they had 4 of the top 5 showed being tough in striking out just on past history, as the others could add in 6 themselves. Perez, Fermlin, Blanco, Garcia, and DeShong have struck out 42% of their at-bats to Scooble. That's fucking every other at-bat in those guys. Now, there is only one lefty in this projected lineup, as like my guy just said, Vinny P, probably not fucking striking out. 8 at-bats, hasn't struck out. But I'm going to tell you guys he has a chance to strike out today, as Scooble got Quan, and Quan don't strike out. And it's the same thing I'm going to tell you guys that I texted my boy next to me when it happened. This man's now throwing changeups to lefties, guys. He hasn't done it all year. Started doing it at the All-Star break and was like, wow, it plays. Has thrown 28 pitches over the last 2 weeks, and he got back-to-back swing and misses from Quan with a strikeout. The best non-strikeout guy in the American fucking league. When you throw 97 to 99 and 91 is your changeup, you can get him out front. Go ahead.
Hey, just call him what he is. Asian Luis Ariz.
Hey, he's the Louis. Yes, he is that. Hey, I saw something on him too. They tried to make his swing bigger, which actually has cut down his strikeouts more. They have him swinging out his pants now, and he's still making contact. I was just like, wow, wow. But I'm not saying he's going to get him today, guys. I'm saying there is a chance. And for that chance, the books don't have that calculated or cooked into nothing. This man has strictly been sinker ball slider for the last 6 fucking years versus lefties. He is now trusting his changeup. And the fact that he trusted it the second time in a key situation with runners on versus Quan tells me, like, he got real faith in this pitch, guys. So I lean the over. Probably won't get there, guys, strictly because the line right there just doesn't make sense to me. Should not be this. I would get it if it was minus 150. Minus 122 tells me they don't care. But I expect it to go to minus 150 now with Markel Garcia at the front of this lineup. And if it doesn't, then I'd be really worried. If it goes to minus 150, that tells me I'm on the right path. Just because I'm on the right path don't mean I'm gonna fucking bet it, as it's the fucking Royals, bro. And I really don't like running Raggins inside. I mean, not Raggins, Scooble inside the division. So is what it is. I may just leave Scooble alone, but them putting Garcia at the front takes away any under, in my opinion. The guy struck out 5 of his 11 at bats.
Yes, he has.
Damn.
Yeah, I always tell people is that on big volume days, meaning, you know, obviously every team is playing, unless you are the kind of better that does crazy parlays where you need all these legs and pieces to put in it, is that if you're a singles better on big volume days, don't take ones where you're kind of sort of sure it might or could happen. Reason why is because there's just so many other spots. And like, honestly, like I told one of my VIPs this, because he wanted to take all my leans and because he had extra money from the profitable night we had the night before. And I said, instead of doing that and putting, you know, say $50 on each of the leans, why not take that extra 200 and just put it on the better plays? I'm like, those have a higher chance of hitting anyway, ones that you're more confident about. That's what I would advise everybody to do, is that if you want to, because a lot of people try to do that when they bet, is they try to spread their action around like 4,000 things, because, hey, if one doesn't hit, the other one will. What you end up doing is you wind up just kind of hovering around even and getting juiced to death. And that's, to me, what I would feel like with Scooble here, is that maybe it hits, maybe it doesn't. I don't know.
I felt like pulling him down the 5 because before the snow came out, I was telling you, I was like, I was gonna do 7-5, but I was like, then what? He's only had not 5 in one game this year, and that was versus the Astros. If any team was compared to or better than the Astros, it's the fucking Kansas City fucking Royals, man. And they would be the team where I wouldn't get fucking 5 today, and I'm not gonna do it, bro. I'm just couldn't get there with them.
I with so many things to bet on today, you just don't take the ones that you're kind of sort of maybe sure about. If anything, take the money you were gonna bet on the kind of sort of ones and just roll it in and just bet more on the ones you're really confident about.
Yeah, I mean, have a day. Have a
Yeah,
day.
I try to tell people too, don't try to look at it as how many bets you have. Try to look at it as how many units you have in play. And so if you have more units that you can invest, I mean, good for you. So invest it in the ones that you're more confident of. Don't just go looking for other plays just to have more action. I promise you it will be just as suspenseful. In fact, it'll be more suspenseful because I will tell you, and Sharpie remembers this day when both of us went balls deep on Wheeler out in San Francisco, and I sent you my tickets and I said, God help me, because this is way more than we should be investing in this guy. I can promise you it's suspenseful and fun as fuck to have a shitload of units invested in a guy, way more than it is to have a small amount of units invested in like 30 guys. Yep. Sharpie, you there? Sharpie?
Yeah, I got froze, but I was over there like trying to shake my computer, like
I was like, did I freeze, or I'm like, am I having like a COVID hallucination or what?
Bro, I thought you froze. I was like, oh, he froze, and I go look at my computer. I'm like, no, I froze.
No. All right,
we're good. I was over here doing. It happens when I check the weather. I was running too much out the background, but
that's
I wanted to check the weather on the next guy on Gosman, and it shows, guys, that it looks like the game's going to go and play, whether they have to push it back 30, 45 minutes. It shows a good 3 hours of just 20% or less coming. So I do expect this game to go. So let's talk Kevin Gosman at the Yankees, striking people out at a whopping 23%. walking people 6.5. Morning line was 5.5 minus 132 on FanDuel. Best line available to that 5.5 is minus 125 on MGM. Pitching outs are not available. Earn runs 2.5 minus 155 juice to the over. The lineup is the projected lineup: 5 lefties, 4 righties. Let's talk Gausser.
All right, first things first, I got to get it out of my system. Boo, Kevin Gausman. Boo. Fuckers cost me just almost as much money as Rodon this year. So I'm bitter about him. But I put bitterness aside when there's money to be made. But seriously, fuck Gausman this year. He's one step off the Rodon list, which if you're one of my VIPs, you know what we do to Rodon. We cross him off. It's like he doesn't exist. They're pitching against a ghost. Gausman isn't quite there yet, but he's been wildly erratic this year. So you look at the metrics, and it's certainly it certainly looks like this line is set correctly. He's on the road at Yankee Stadium. Yankees striking out 2 righties 18.4% of the time, but walking 10.6% of the time last 30 days. You also look and you see that on the road, Gausman, road or home, it doesn't really make a difference. You got very, very similar walk splits, usually around 6.5, 6 to 6.5, somewhere in that neighborhood. Umpire Eric Bacchus is kind of pitcher slanted, but not really. He's more or less neutral. Not anything huge to worry about here. But you go and you look up and down this lineup, and I talked about like what guys in this lineup do I think that he can for sure get? And I go and I think Judge, Stanton, Jazz Chisholm. So that's 3. And then I have a few more that I think he probably can get. So when I first looked at this one, I honestly looked at the under, because I thought that this would be lined a little bit differently when it came to the juice. I actually thought that the over would be juiced a little bit more. And also when I look at Gausman's projected outs, which with the weather report that might have changed actually. It is now. No, it's still only 15.5. It's still only 5. So if you have Gausman, who's only going to go 5 innings projected, his hits are at 5.5. His walks are at 2.5, which makes sense given how often that the Yankees take. Since the All-Star break, the Yankees actually have the lowest swing rate outside of the zone in Major League Baseball. And you also have an earned runs at 2.5, which is heavily juiced. I am leaning on the under here. I really am. And I need this man next to me to talk me out of it. If it's just my bitterness at Gausman coming through because I want him to fail because he's cost us so much money. Just like I give the double middle finger to Rodon every time he takes the mound. So am I being bitter, or do I have something here?
You're gonna laugh at me because at first I started getting into it thinking it was an under spot, and then I went through some stuff and I was like, God, I don't think I can go under. But let's talk Gausman versus the Yankees, as there is a lot of past history in this projected lineup, guys. As we get the first 2 guys, Verdugo and Soto, both having 22 at bats versus this man and only striking out 2 times to Gausman each. So pretty much a foul tip or caught looking is the only way you're gonna get them. Then it opens up, guys, to Gausman as the next 4 people, their lowest K percentage versus him is 33%. Then Torres, who is below 20%, in a very good sample size, to a guy who ain't seen him, and then Volpe at the end, who struck out 10 of his 16 at-bats. So the past history actually says we can, as there's only 3 guys who's going to be a problem, but I don't like seeing 2 of those guys in the first two spots. As we all know with Gausman, and he'll be the first to tell you, the time to get him is in the first. Because if he gets settled in and gets control, he can be a problem. And that's what the Yankees did to him the first time this year when seeing him. They bounced his ass before the 2nd inning. Then 2 weeks later, guys, he did spun 5 shutout frames with 6 strikeouts. And then back on June 30th, he got taken to the woodshed, giving up 7 runs in just 4.1 innings of work. But strikeouts don't correlate to runs, and he had 7 punch-outs that day. As the stupid Yankees decided to let Volpe lead off. We ain't got that today, guys, all right? The one who has struck out 10 of his 16 bats, including all 3 versus him that day, So lineups pending, guys, and how it's constructed, call me crazy. I may want to go under. As this year, guys, two things have been an issue for Gosman. Zone contact and chase contact, both which have fallen off by at least 3% from last season, and both are worse than league average. Now, with more drastic move to the chase contact, as it went from elite to straight trash, and when we run this projected lineup for zone and chase contact, we come up with what the past history says, guys. You're not getting Verdugo, Soto, and Torres. Those are the ones who are elite at both, and it shows in the past history. As all other 6 guys are league average or worse when it comes to zone contact, with Rice, Stanton, Wells, and Judge all fall under both. I see 7 guys that's disgustingly or not, guys, even going 5 innings of getting taken to the woodshed. Can he get 7 versus this team? Yes. The 3 guys that can probably not strike out to him, well, there's 6 guys who can. And that's enough to be like, you know what, man, I don't want to be involved when a guy gets taken to the fucking woodshed and gets his strikeouts. Because what if he don't get taken to the woodshed today, guys? What if Gosman shows up and goes 6-7? Then he's going to have 9-10. So I'm not just going to bet strictly because it says he's going to get roughed up. He hasn't gone over 15.5 in 3 games this year. So whether or not I'm getting what the books are saying, and it was at a minus 140 this morning for his earned runs, and money's just coming in because he's gotten beat down by him 3 games in a row, guys. Baseball is a funny sport. The time you go fade the guy, the time the guy shows up and reminds you who the fuck he is, guys. And that to me seems like one of those spots right here. There's just too many guys that can go down and strike out more than once. So it's just a stay off for me. I don't want to be involved. I'm a pussy.
No, I don't know what I'm going to do with Gausman yet. I will tell you that if I do, it will be a half unit on the under, if anything, if I can get it at plus money. I put in the chat for those that didn't know what the Rodon list is for me. And obviously right now there's only one occupant of that, Carlos Rodon. But Gausman juiced is another one that tends to make appearances on the list. I don't like paying juice for this guy on either side because he's so inconsistent. And that for me is what it is. So like there's other pitchers that have cost me money this year. There's other guys that have burned me, teams that have burned me, umps that have rat fucked us. I mean, all that stuff happens, right? But I look at it from the standpoint of if a guy is so inconsistent that you can't come up with any kind of predictive modeling about what he's going to throw, what he's going to do, what his velo is going to be at. I mean, Sharpie, we talked about Gausman before. I mean, he says in his, like, doing his bullpen before the games, he's like, I don't know until I get there if my fastball is going to be 92 or 96. Like, I have no idea. Like, he's like,
92? He said 88. Come on, give him his credit.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm showing up with.
So guys like that, and this would be my advice to anybody listening, guys like that are that inconsistent, it makes it doesn't make them impossible to play unless you're Carlos Rodon. It makes them very tough to pay juice for. So if I can get a good spot at plus money, I'll take it because I'm not paying the books anything. But I'll be damned if I'm going to put something at risk to pay the books for somebody that inconsistent. So small lean on the under at plus money for a half unit max. I don't even know if I'm going to take it yet. I got to dig a little bit more. It's going to be really close, or I'm just going to tell my people to just throw it in a parlay if you really want it that bad. And there's nothing wrong with dumping it either. There really isn't.
Man, I may just have to. I mean, Rodon's he's my friend again, bro. But Gausman is a guy that I can't go back and tell you when the last time I bet him because he has cost me money over and over again. It was just to the point of when, you know what? And now we look at it like his chase contact is the worst it's ever been. Zone contact's the worst it's ever been. And it's just like, this ain't the guy I want to bet on. He's super inconsistent. But yeah, it's pretty much under. And I like what you said. Just don't pay juice for Gausman ever.
Well,
don't find a way not to.
This year, just because I looked it up. This year, so overall for the year, 171 and 125. Great winning percentage. I love it. On Carlos Rodon, and I'm not kidding. I actually brought up my official tracking results. 1-6 I am 1-6 betting on that motherfucker, and that's why he's on the Rodon list.
I got two.
1-6 betting on Rodon. And by the way, my last win on him on a prop was on April 3rd. The last time I even looked at him was June 5th. He's dead.
I hit him for an
Dead.
under in April, and then I finally hit him for an over 2 weeks ago. I was like, yeah.
That's why he's on the list.
But no, he was on the list. I gave him a big giant break, and then I gave him his redemption the same day as Blake Snell. It was disgusting, but it felt good. Maybe that was the beginning of me getting sick, bro. Just like, you really want to do this shit, bro?
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's talk about the Andrew Abbotts of this world. And he gets the Giants. And he's striking people out this year at a whopping 18% clip, while walking people 9% on the year. Morning line, 5.5 plus 105 on DK. 30 minutes later, it was minus 180 to the 4.5. Now the best line to the 4.5 is minus 160 on MGM, or 6.5, or 5.5 on FanDuel. Pitching out 16.5, minus 130 juice to the over is now a pick'em. His earned runs opened at a minus 140 to the 2.5 to the over. They're now minus 170. Those sneaky bastards. Projected lineup, 8 righties, 1 lefty. Let's talk Abbott.
All right. So the first thing you need to know about Abbott, and this is something to always watch for in the second half of seasons, regardless if a team is a playoff team, and especially if they're not. If a guy is part of their, if a younger guy is part of their core, which Abbott is, you have to look at their innings and what they've been doing. If they have, and Abbott has in this case, if they've pierced their max innings threshold. And what I mean by max innings threshold is if you go back and you look at whether it's in the minor leagues or whether it's in Major League Baseball, usually it's for guys that are 3 seasons or less. You go and you look and you see what year have they thrown this many innings. And if you can add or subtract 20% or more, or 20% from the total for this year, and it still doesn't touch the max innings that they've had, if it's still more than that, what that tells you is you have a guy that might be hitting the wall. The wall for young guys is very real. Most of these guys are not used to throwing this many innings. A case in point with Abbott. So far this year, he's thrown 117 innings. He threw 109 last year. His max innings in any season prior to that was in Double-A, where he threw 21. Not 21, 91. And his max before that was in the 30s. So this guy is not used to throwing this many innings. And if you look at his results over the last few weeks or so, ever since he started getting close to this threshold, it really, really shows. It shows in his location. It shows in his velocity. It shows in a lot of different things. Case in point, he's only struck out 3 guys in his last 2 starts, which one of those starts was against the Rays. Granted, it was before they traded everybody, but still. And he only had 4 against the Marlins, 2 against the Yankees, 2 against the Cardinals, 3 against the, I can just go on and on and on. But since he's come up on this innings threshold, Abbott has become much, much less effective. Now, when you look at the actual scenario for today, he gets a Giants team that now, opponents notwithstanding, or opposing pitchers notwithstanding, they have struck out a shitload to lefties lately. 34.5%, which is outrageous. Over the last 30 days, they are walking at a 9.1% clip. Those are numbers that Abbott hasn't touched in weeks. Probably a month. And what also shows is that is that his location, because Abbott is a junk baller. He throws a light 4-seam fastball. He throws a changeup. He throws breaking pitches. He is trying to get you with all of that junk stuff in the zone. So you go and you look at the Giants and you see that they are not the highest, they're actually one of the lower swinging teams in baseball, just a 45.7% swing percentage over since the All-Star break, which is under MLB average of 48.2. They also don't swing very much in the zone. That tends not to matter for Abbott because he does operate in the zone over 50% of the time. The umpire for this one is very neutral with Malachi Moore. His overall strikeout percentage, walk percentage, everything is right around where it should be. If you're looking at this one though, guys, and this is just an angle that I know the man next to me has used, I've used it for the last 2 years. Looking for guys that are part of a team's young core that are piercing their innings threshold, their effectiveness can tend to go down. When their effectiveness goes down, their strikeouts go down. And that's why for me, I haven't fully decided if I'm going to do it yet. I know it's super juiced. This is an under or nothing for me easily.
And we're talking about this one where it does show rain, guys. But once again, I pulled that up and it shows like this game should go and will go. Now, I do have a little conundrum going on as since last year, guys, I figured Abbott out, at least when it comes to betting his K-prop. And it's been zone contact with chase contact as this man is below average on both. Now, you know who else is below average on both? A guy named JP fucking Sears, guys. We just cashed his 4.5 versus these Giants with a 9-piece. So it is there for Abbott to have some strikeouts today. Granted, this is a different projected lineup, and that's why I ended up having to fire, as they did take 2 guys that were projected and put in another 2, and I was like, you are going to force my hand on JP Sears? Fine. And that's what's going to have to probably come down to here, guys, is you're going to have to force my hand, and I'll still probably look to fade you, Abbott, just in a different way than your strikeouts, as that's what ended up happening last year, guys, when he faced this team after his innings were up. This guy got gassed. He hit a wall. This dude, most people hit walls. Some people can pitch through it. It's not with everybody. This guy, yes. And I circled it, guys. Last year, I tell you guys, I listened to everything on the radio. The radio will tell you things. A couple weeks ago, listening to an Abbott game, and this dude's terrible. He's not, I think he was post Rockies or somebody. He didn't catch that he should have. I forgot which game it was, but it was somewhere where he should have catched. And they're just like, man, he's past his innings limit again. He's sure looking tired again. And when I look at it, guys, it's like, yeah, you know what? Maybe he is going to get freaking cooked today, guys. And that's what I think is going to happen. And that's what happened to him last year at the end of the year when he was tired. He still had 6 strikeouts, only went 3.1 innings, but got shellacked. Gave up 3 runs, should have gave up a bunch more. They just took him out the game. So maybe the outs play under is the right play, as money's been coming that way. The earned runs have been hella juice now to minus 170, as everybody's understanding Abbott. What's Abbott when he's tired? And he's in the bandbox of Cincinnati. And even though the Giants have been striking out, they still got to Kershaw. They still got to some of those guys. They have been hitting somewhat. So I'm probably going to look at the freaking Giants team total first 5 over, guys. I think Abbott gets blasted, and that takes away if he does strike out these shitty ass fucking Giants, because they are shitty, guys. If JP Sears gets 9, they're bad. All right, that's all I got on that one. Oh, actually, I'll lie. I got more than that. Let's be real. I had to be a little better than that. So let's go look at the freaking zone contact guys in this lineup. And that's what right now has got me a little scared. We've got 6 of the 9 guys that are league average or worse at zone contact. The ones not being Bailey, some kid named Encarnacion, who really was horrendous throughout his whole career at striking out until last year. He supposedly fixed something in the minors. Still not versus major league pitching. Granted, it's Abbott, blah, blah, blah. Abbott's still in the majors. This kid's never made it. So can't really take much into Encarnacion and Casali. So it's Bailey and Casali are the only 2 guys who are good at zone contact. And then we've got 3 guys who are good at chase contact. It's in the fucking numbers for this guy to go out there and get 6 strikeouts today, guys. Now, it's also been in the numbers his last few starts too, and he ain't gone out and did it. So to me, guys, I would fade Abbott's another way than the strikeouts, and that's the way I'm going to look to get in. And now with Snell on the mound, I may just back fucking Snell first 5, depending on where the line's at and what it's looking like. So yeah, that's what I think about Andrew Abbott. You've got to fade him. You cannot back him at this moment. It's just which way are you going to fade him?
Yep, same here. I haven't decided yet on if I'm going to give his under a shot. There's a lot of factors that make me not want to pay juice for this. What I wished would have happened, actually,
And FanDuel though does show the sign though, don't it? That 6 is going to be tough.
the lineup's out now, and they got it at minus, was it 146? It's the same as everybody else.
Oh, so they moved it after lineups?
Yeah, it's the same as everybody else. So
Nah, 5.5 everywhere.
no, I know. That's what I said. It's
Okay.
5.5 everybody.
That's right. And I'm sad to say
use that trick.
Yeah, but it's still I get the over. I'm just no way. Hey, this is the last time we said this on this fucking show. Granted, his innings wasn't here. What happened with Andrew Abbott? We can't bet him in this spot. No. A fucker went out and had like 8 or 9. Dude killed it.
Yep.
But yeah, is what it is, guys. Get it if you're on the over. I'm giving you my reasons not. I cannot bet his strikeouts over from here on out. I will either look to fade him or just let him go. And I want to fade him today, and I want to back a little Snell. So I'll tweet it out after I dig into the lineup on the Snell. Next and last, guys, do me a favor. If you like what you're hearing, smash that like button. If you're new to this channel, please hit that subscribe button as well. And this is where I'm going to talk first. Not much, and I'm going to let him go because this man right here, I've never betted. The man next to me has made some money off of it and made me money off of it because I bet what he does when he tells me he's playing something. And we're talking Tyler Phillips at the Mariners, striking people out 30.5% while walking people 8.5% of the time. Morning line was 4.5 minus 142, where the best line available is minus 138 to that 4.5 on FanDuel. Pitching outs is 17.5 minus 120 each way. Earned runs 2.5 minus 130 juice to the under. Projected lineup is 5 righties, 4 lefties. So we're going to end the day talking Tyler Phillips at the Mariners. And to be real, guys, this wasn't even a guy or a game I was going to talk about. But like I said, I was not impressed with the board today. And I knew the man next to me has made some money on him. Now, first thing I did was go look at his pitch mix. And then the second thing I did was kick the shit out of myself for not looking to bet this man last week when he was at home. I don't like to bet K-props, guys, on guys who throw sinker ballers. This man throws a sinker ball, and he ain't going to catch me betting K-props like that, bro. It's just I've lost too much fucking money on these guys going 7 innings and not getting my strikeouts. But you're going to tell me we got a sinker baller in Philadelphia not named Sanchito? Oh, man, I can't wait for the rest of the year to come down the pipe, guys. As if you look at his ground ball percent, it's going to say it's terrible. Oh, it's 3% worse than league average. The kid's only played a couple fucking games in the majors. Calm down.
And one of them was against the Braves, who hack like crazy. So,
yeah, so it's like, calm down. When I looked at his minor stats, 6 to 12% better than league average when it comes to ground balls, guys. We've got a guy we can start looking to play his outs when he's in Philadelphia, and that's how I'm going to bet him. But when it comes to K-props, I don't know. I'm going to let this guy now talk about him because he has made money on his K-props.
All right. So I started studying Phillips a little while ago. Before he made his first start, I had started hearing that he was a kid who they liked and probably would bring up. So, I always take a look at young guys like that. And like this man said, he does throw primarily a sinker, which doesn't tend to lead to strikeouts, but he also does throw a very nice sweeper, which he can snap, and which has some really nice break and some really, really nice, or can have some really nice movement. The thing that I like the most about Phillips is that he can work on the outside and on the edges on both sides of the plate, because his sweeper and his curve run in the 11 to 7 range, and then his four seam, his sinker, and his changeup can run in the 1 to 4 range. So he covers a lot of the plate, and that can be how he gets his strikeouts. Now, he's playing against the Mariners, which if you followed me for any length of time, you know about No Under Island, and they are a permanent resident on it this year. So let's just assume that under is not an option, because it's not. And for me, there even have been scenarios where I look at a Mariners line and I'm like, if there was a time for the pitcher to go under, this would be it. I still don't bet it. And the reason why is their swing metrics are still absolutely fucking awful. Some examples. Since the All-Star break, their contact rate outside of the zone, league average is 62.9. The Mariners, 52.1, second worst in Major League Baseball to the Colorado Rockies. Their overall contact rate in the zone has been right around league average. But the problem here comes in that this is not going to be the same Mariners team that you would have expected pre-trade deadline. Reason being is they acquired Randy Arozarena. And I'm not going to say Randy Arozarena is a super contact guy, but he does have some things that could give Phillips problems that I'll talk about in a second. They also acquired Justin Turner. Justin Turner is a very cagey veteran, has high contact metrics everywhere. His zone contact is almost 7% above league average. His chase contact is almost 14% above league average. And that is another thing with Arozarena. Arozarena does have a chase contact rate above league average. So you put those two guys in. Robles has been leading off for them and has been actually doing a really, really, really nice job. He also only strikes out less than 20% to right-handed pitchers. He's got overall decent contact metrics. You go down the lineup, and it's probably a given that Dylan Moore and Josh Rojas will be in there. Those are also two guys that are harder to get. So I go down their lineup when you go hitter by hitter, and I look at who are the high strikeout candidates. Raleigh always is. Raleigh and Rayleigh. Cal and Luke, both of them always are. You have Haniger, who's in the middle. You have Polanco, who's in the middle. I got to be honest with you guys, as much as I like Tyler Phillips, and I think that he's got a nice future in MLB, I'm not seeing it today. I'm not seeing 5. And so I also think that that their refusal to move this to a 5.5, and I know it's a young guy who just is fresh up in the MLB and et cetera. But the fact that they haven't moved this to a 5.5 when ain't nobody in their right mind betting an under on the Mariners. And the fact that they still make this very, very takeable in the -138 to -155 range between the three main prop books, DraftKings, FanDuel, BetMGM. You see that his hits are the juice on it is elevated, and his overall his outs prop is up. So what I'm actually envisioning is a lot more sinkers than breaking balls if you roll out this lineup that's actually higher contact, which then leads to less strikeouts. So I'm never betting an under on the Mariners. I don't care if it hits and he only has 2. I never go back the next day and say, oh shit, I wish I would have bet on that. I say, good. Okay. That's a free lesson. This man next to me talks about all the time. Lessons are free. So I'm going to learn a lesson in this game. I'm going to learn what he does when his outs prop goes up, and do they know something, and do they think he's going to throw more sinkers, and the Mariners are going to run out a higher contact lineup? Because if they run out this projected lineup, I go and I look and I see Turner, Robles, Turner, Moore, and Rojas are guys that are going to be tough to get. So you give me 4 of 9 that are going to be tough to get, and only 3 of 9 that are like, okay, yeah, he should strike out at least 2 of those. That's a lot to ask for a kid on the road, and in a place he's never pitched before, against an opponent he's never pitched against before, in a situation like this, traveling across the country, blah, 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 blah. And to pay -150 or more for it, guys, it's a lot to ask for. So very, very much a stay off for me. If the Mariners were not on no under island, and they didn't have some of these guys that are going to be in their lineup that are just absolutely hideous when it comes to chase contact and actually contact period, I probably would be giving out a lean on the under, but against this team, I just can't do it.
One that I couldn't get to the under on either, bro, was Gomber, and strictly because I think I was late to the party on Kershaw when I was like, I even told you, I was like, bro, there's no way he's gonna hit it, but I can't bet him under today. It's my guy, bro. I'm not betting him. And then I had to deal with every fucking family member of mine on Facebook talking shit on him after the Padre game. And I couldn't even show him a winning bet ticket of being on the under. Where at least on Cease, I was like, I was on them, bitches. Fuck you. I don't care if you got a no-hitter. Ha ha. But you know, it's an inside family game of baseball, but they love to talk about the regular season being Padre fans. So I told them, you're lucky football's coming up and you'll forget baseball's going on. Road trip. But yeah, as of right now, I've got freaking 6-6 loaded up on Snell Raggins. I haven't bet it yet. It's sitting in my cart staring at me. I need to do the work on freaking Snell, and then I will tweet out the action I pull. I am looking at that over 2.5. San Francisco Giants team total first 5. As his earned runs are at 2.5, minus 170 to the over. His outs are at 16.5. You telling me he's giving up those 2 fucking runs or whatever in that 1 out? Oh, man, it's kind of like reading in between the lines, and I get a better fucking number on the first 5 than his actual earned runs. So, yeah, definitely going to look at fading Abbott one way or the other. Haven't pulled the trigger on shit because I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm halfway sick. Maybe it's because I'm a vagina. Maybe it's because I'm afraid of rain. I don't know. I'd rather be afraid than having a bunch of tickets put in at minus 150 and fucking lose. You know? So it's like, I'll wait till lineups come out. I'll dot my I's, I'll cross my T's, and then I'll fucking pull the trigger if it says pull the trigger. Now it says pull the trigger with freaking this lineup for Abbott, and I won't pull the fucking trigger on him. What I was getting at when I talked about it the last time, people actually messaged me. They're like, I love your show, bro. You're brutally honest whether you bet it or not. I bet his over that day. Thank you. And I'm like, fuck you, bro. I had a losing day. Like, don't take that out. Pound it up your ass. Like, I didn't say that back, but
No,
it is what it is. You know, we
No,
give
I've
you the
had
information while we're on
Yeah.
or off. And if you run with it, get your money, bro. Abbott's got action, guys, at literally 6 guys who are bad at both. And that's what he struggles versus. So they took out the one guy who wasn't going to strike out in Caselli. Canna can be gotten. His chase contact's good. His zone contact's league average, but he just ain't been the same guy he's been his whole career either, bro. So maybe the Giants help him out. I don't know. But yeah, appreciate you, bro, for showing up. Let these fine people know what you got going on. Where they can find you.
At Spin Doc Sports, I'll be posting public play throughout the weekend, and I will be giving out a 4-pack of free plays tomorrow morning. I'll tweet that out once I do. So, but yeah. At Spin Doc Sports, feel free to hit me up with any questions, anything like that. It's been fun in VIP. It's been a nice run, and it's been sustained for like the last 3 months. So we're just going to keep doing what we're doing. And, just if there's any advice that I could leave anybody with, it's what I mentioned earlier, is that to me, there's far greater value in if you have, let's just say 3 units or 5 units total to put in play for a single day, rather than try to spread that out across 4,000 bets. And because the hit rate you need to hit at and the juice you could charge on the losing ones, don't do that. Pick the best 4 or 5, best 3 or 4, and just load up on those. I promise you, you do that enough times, maybe it's today, maybe it's not, but you do that enough times, your wallet will thank you.
As always, guys, make some fucking money. And if you make some money with this show, say thank you. And if you lost some money because of this show, that happens fucking too. You can thank me for that one too. But until next time, y'all stay fucking good. Because I'm out.